Hi friends, today I wanted to do a video on the status of my garden. I have pretty much planted everything in the garden. Some things are doing well and some things are not. I will show you the status of everything, but I am still overall really happy, and I just wanted to share my garden with you all. I am not by any means an expert gardener. I've probably been gardening for like 7 years in this house, and I did a little bit of gardening in my previous house, but it had a lot of shade, so didn't do too much gardening. But I'm pretty happy with having such a sunny spot in this house. So I will share the items that I'm growing and just show you how things are doing. So this is the door to my garden. I have to put a door on here because I have 2 dogs, and otherwise I don't have so much problems with my current 2 dogs, but my other dog, that was a retriever, he loved coming in my garden and digging up the vegetables and eating them. So this area over here is like new to my garden. I did not have this area planted last year. I actually extended my garden a little bit to grow potatoes in the ground. I normally grow them in my raised beds, but I wanted to grow a couple extra things, and I think any gardener can relate. You never have enough space for everything that you want to grow, and you have to stop yourself. So these are my potatoes. They're actually fingerling potatoes, mostly Yukon Gold potatoes. I've tried, I can't remember the name of I think it's Red Pontiac. Red Pontiac's the other variety. So I grew a whole variety of them. I'm a little worried about them because this area was never planted in, so I'm afraid that it might be compact and maybe the potatoes won't grow or grow very well. But I did cover this area up in this winter last year with cardboard and grass and everything, and hoped to kill everything that was there. And then this year I planted the potatoes, so we will see how it does. I'm hoping to share things from my garden with my son and his wife, so that's part of the reason I'm growing so many potatoes. And potatoes are one of those things that store well, and I really want to put an emphasis on things that store well, or things I can put away for the winter, dehydrate them, can them, whatever I have to do, just preserve them. So the other thing that I have is that this is the first bed that I have planted. It's hard to see, but there are some bean plants coming up. A neighbor of mine gave me these beans, and so they are starting to climb the trellis. I also planted peas here, which mostly got chewed up. I don't know what animal chews them up, but some animal's been chewing them up, so I don't really get too many peas. And this was supposed to be my pepper bed, and I put some onions in it, though I am going to be removing most of these onions, because a lot of my onions have what I've determined is I can't remember its name. It's an allium mining bug or something, and so a lot of my onions are not doing well. Some of these are doing well, so I'm gonna kind of look through them, but the rest of these are all my peppers. As you can see, my potatoes are encroaching upon my pepper bed, so I've been reaching in here trying to move them back. But I'm pretty excited about the peppers. I planted bell peppers, poblano peppers. I think I planted this pepper as like some kind of Bermuda pepper, I think it was called. It's supposed to be super spicy, and I'm giving that to my sister because I'm not really into super spicy. But most of these are going to be just like regular bell peppers or poblano peppers. And then over here, I know this seems really weird here, but I was trying to grow kohlrabi, and then on the side are some beans. And this netting is on here because of the beans. Some animal keeps eating all of my beans. Like, they eat the plant and I'm just left with the sticks. They eat the leaves and then I'm left with the sticks. So I've put the mesh on it until it grows a little bit bigger. The kohlrabi has done basically nothing. I am actually thinking this weekend I'm just going to remove it. It is not forming kohlrabi bulbs on them, or whatever you call them. I did have some plants where the beans are. I had some turnips and stuff, and they did not do so well in this bed either. But anyway, I think I'm just going to turn it into a bean bed once I get the kohlrabi out of here. But that's what I had planted in there. And I think there's some beets off to the side. The potatoes are pretty much, I did not think the potato plants would be this healthy, but here we are. And they are growing into everything. And this is my tomato bed, which is my pride and joy because I love growing tomatoes. Last year I had really bad luck with my tomatoes. A lot of them were beautiful and then they started dying. So I am a little bit fearful that it could happen again this year. I did move them to a different bed, So I'm hoping that that helps. But I am shocked at the stem of some of these tomato plants. They're like massively large. To me, they're huge. These are like really thick stems. Let's see if I can get a better shot. It is like, this is like a really wide stem. I think these are my sun gold cherries that I planted, or it could possibly be Romas. I've never really grown Romas. My neighbor grows them and she's had really good luck. So this year I got some seeds and I planted them also. But I planted Romas, I planted some sun gold cherries because those are my favorite cherry tomatoes. And then I also planted from a pack, I'll link the company, it's an Etsy company, and I ordered not even tomatoes from him, something else, but he sent me a free pack of beefsteak tomatoes. So some of these are his beefsteak tomatoes, and it was like a mystery pack, so I have no idea what I'm growing. And then one of them is called a mushroom tomato, which I really like. In the middle of all of this is some parsley that is going to seed. But I do have some more parsley plants. I am really trying to preserve herbs this year. Like I said, I feel like as much as I can preserve from my garden and not have to buy through the winter, I feel like that's a smart thing to do. So I have some dill growing there, if you can see. That's like the little bluish plant. And then I have some basil that I've also planted, and I need to start harvesting. And I'm looking for any ideas that you guys might have of drying basil. Whenever I dry it, it becomes really brown looking, not like the stuff that you get from the store. And I have read that you can put it in the microwave, and I did do it last year, but I would prefer not to microwave it to dry it. So I'm open for any suggestions you guys might have. I know it might not seem like a lot to just preserve things like basil, but I feel like any amount of money that I can save by preserving my own food, even if it's $1 a week, like if I buy cilantro, that's something that we buy for our cooking a lot, and so I try to grow cilantro, and I feel like even like 5 weeks of not having to buy cilantro is $5 saved. And I just feel like every bit counts, and you can't just say, oh, it's only $1. So I really love growing the herbs this way. I love preserving the parsley. I haven't bought thyme, sage, rosemary. I haven't bought those for years, just because I have them in my garden, and every year I just preserve them for the following year. And every year I'm just adding more herbs that I can preserve. So I definitely, like I said, I've added parsley on there, but the basil is a little bit tricky for me right now still. So I just want to encourage everyone to preserve whatever you can. One, it's organic, it's got nothing sprayed on it, and two, it's basically just taking up a little bit of space in your garden. If you're already planting other things, just throw those in there with it. So I just like the idea of preserving the herbs and not having to buy those all winter long. I never have to buy, and I've kept the bottles of the bottles that the herbs came in, and I just keep washing them and reusing them. This here is probably the messiest bed in my garden. It might prove me wrong in a minute, but I have my asparagus growing in it. I kind of regret that I planted asparagus in this bed, and I've been contemplating moving it out of this bed. So I think about it every year. I'm going to have to research when the best time to move asparagus is. As you can see, this is ferning, but it's not doing really well. And on top of that, some bug is eating the asparagus plant. I'm going to show you. I don't know if I can do a close-up of this bug or not. Well, there are all these little bugs, like black and white and kind of brownish color bugs on here, and I don't know what to do about them, so I'm really just disgusted with that. And here, as you can see, I have mesh again on all my bean plants. I do not know what it is. I've had people tell me it's slugs, but I don't really believe it's slugs. I think it's like bunnies or something, because I come out here and I just have the stem standing and the leaves are all gone, and I just find that weird that slugs would climb up the plant, eat them. But now that I have mesh on them, they're not climbing up the plant, and they can still crawl down on the ground below. So I'm not sure what's causing it, but thank God this mesh is working. This is just from the Hobby Lobby. I just picked this up in the fabric department. So now the plants seem to be doing well, and I'm hoping that they continue to grow, because I really like string beans, and I also use them to make food for my dogs. So my goal is to grow as many string beans as possible. And some of these beds that I will be cleaning out, I will be planting green beans in. The other thing I wanted to show you, this is kind of a better shot if I show you this, but I took a lot of black pots. I actually got most of these plastic pots at Home Depot. I don't know if you guys are aware, but Home Depot, at least my Home Depots, have a section where the nursery empty pots, they just put them there. They're trays, they're pots. So one day I went and they had these big pots that maybe like fruit trees come in, and they're free, like they're free for the taking. And so I brought a whole bunch of them home. And then I also have some of this fabric grow bags that I bought last year. So I don't think I'm gonna get too many years out of them, but these plastic pots I'm gonna be on the lookout for again. So I planted like a lot of things in here. Like this one is the squash. This is actually watermelon. I planted a couple seeds and they weren't taking off, and now they're all sprouting. This is actually a sunflower sunflower plant. This is aroma tomato. Like I said, my neighbor has really good luck with them, so that's what I decided. I'm going to go with the Roma tomatoes for some reason and hope that I also have luck with them. And then these are squash plants. They're like, one of them is called gray zucchini. One is called a Daisy squash, which I got from like Baker Creek seeds. So nothing's producing yet. Well, actually, I take that back. There is a teeny weeny little zucchini right there. So they are starting to do something. I'm not sure how it's going to be, but I'm hoping, I'm at least thinking if I can find like extra sticks and stuff, I'm going to try to have them trellising going straight up. But I will admit I've tried that in the past and I kind of fall off the wagon and forget to trellis them. This is just some mint, and then there's 3 eggplant plants. And if you see these covers, I had these covers on them to try to keep the flea beetles off until they grew bigger. And now I have actually taken them off because one, it's gotten too big to cover, and 2, I think the plant might survive now. It does definitely have some flowers on here, so I am really hoping for some eggplant. And I do not remember the eggplant variety offhand. I'll put a note on here so you guys can know what variety I'm growing, but I started these from seeds, so I'm really excited about that. This is also some more squash and some chamomile, because I want to make some chamomile tea, so I try to preserve some of this. And then this is another basil plant and some dill. I like to make a cucumber salad with the dill, plus I do want to preserve some of this. This plant actually came up on its own in this pot. I did not plant it. I don't know where it came from. So then I threw in more dill seeds and I figured, well, I'll just grow more dill in here. This is another pepper plant. Sometimes these were plants that were just left over. There wasn't enough space in my beds, so I put them in the pots. Some lettuce that I've been harvesting. I did cut it already once and it's growing again. Another Roma tomato. This is lemon balm, which I actually started from seed, so I'm pretty excited about the lemon balm. I've already harvested some and I'm trying to dry it. And then this is more squash. I planted like a couple seeds, but only 1 plant came out in here, so more Roma tomatoes. And then I do not know what this is, but this is a variety of like a basil. I will also note the name of it on the screen for you. And then this is more squash. Sorry about that. This is not squash. This is actually cucumber. It's called Space Maker cucumber, and I'm hoping that I can grow it in this pot and have it climb up this trellis that I got at the dollar store. I just put 2 of these trellises together, so I'm hoping it will climb up. And then this is squash, and if you look here, you can actually see a butternut forming. I don't get too excited. Sometimes they never get pollinated. This is just an empty pot right now that, well, actually it's not an empty pot. I planted some seeds in there and I'm waiting for them to sprout. And some more squash. And then this is parsley that I planted this year. So I am hoping to preserve more parsley. And then just this one has like some tomato, strawberry plants, and this is marjoram. That's just one that I've started this year, and I started this from seed also. So the rest of this, let me show you. 2 of these beds are basically carrot beds. Sorry about the sun here being so bright. I planted these carrots myself, and I'm super excited to harvest some of them. I am not very good at growing carrots, and these are supposed to be like the small carrots. These are supposed to be Danvers half long. Let's see. I might have to, oh, there we go. We got one. So these are my Danvers half long. I have been holding off on it, but I might harvest these later today. But I'm pretty excited. Some of them are on the small side, but I don't care. It's still a carrot, so I'll take it. But yeah, these are Danvers half long carrots. And then I have another bed. They actually self-seeded from a carrot that went to seed. And if you can see here, I have one carrot plant going to seed in here. You can see the flower. So next year this might seed itself with the carrot seeds from there, but those were not planted by me. They just fell from a plant last year and they seeded themselves. So I'm going to be harvesting those. At the end here is, let me give you a close-up. In here is my radish plant. It was daikon radish that instead of producing radishes went to seed, and we actually eat these pods. So I need to harvest these today. I have a friend of mine that likes them. We do cook them, but I'm going to harvest the majority of these and give them to this person who likes them, because I know she will cook them quickly. So I'm pretty excited about that. So that's these two beds right here. This is my strawberry bed, which did not do so well, but you can see there's a strawberry here and there. There's one right there. I am trying to weed it and get it cleaned up and hope for a better harvest next year. Any tips that you might have for growing strawberries would be appreciated. This is my other bed that has broccoli in it. And as you can see, I didn't have very pretty broccoli. I know this probably needs to be harvested because it's going to flower soon, but I just hadn't gotten around to coming out here and harvesting it. But I'm also trying to grow cabbage, but I'm fighting with the cabbage worms on these, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get any cabbage. And then this is just some kale that has gone to seed, and I'm just leaving it in there so I can get the seeds. Just one plant, because I also don't want to spend money on seeds. This is the thing that makes this bed is the one that makes me the most sad. I planted a ton of garlic because I wanted to share it with my son and his wife. I don't know what's going on with it. It's like literally a lot of them have died. And some of them they're hardened garlic, and so some of them are getting the scape, and I'm going to cut the scape off, but most of them have disappeared, and I think they just have died, or they're not getting the scape. So I am very sad about the state of my garlic bed. That is what it is. I am going to have to order some this year, enough so that I can have enough for a whole year. I'm going to be placing an order from Azure Standard soon, so I might just order that. But first I got to harvest this to see what I get. And this, once again, is my tomato bed from another side. So I just have one more bed, and that is this sweet potato bed. I do not have a lot of luck with growing sweet potatoes, and I actually had my onions in here, but a lot of them were diseased, so I pulled most of them out. And I'm trying to grow the sweet potatoes in here. I do need to put some grass clippings and stuff to try to keep the weeds down. I forgot to mention this earlier, but for my onions, the ones that I said have diseases or they're getting diseased, or some animal is, I don't know what's going on with them, but the stems of them, the plant that's fine, I'm actually going to cut, and my goal is to actually dry it somehow with a dehydrator, or I'm not sure how, but I'm going to dry it and then I'm going to turn it into onion powder. That's another thing. I don't want to buy onion powder if I can just use these sprouts. And since they're not producing onions, I might as well do that. So that is another goal of mine, is to produce my own onion powder. I would like to produce my own garlic powder also, and I was hoping to get enough scapes, and I was hoping to turn them into a garlic powder, but it doesn't look very likely. But I don't use a ton of garlic powder, so it still might be enough depending on how many scapes I get out of there. So another goal in my self-sufficiency in my garden, I just, like I said, anything and everything that I can do to preserve now and not have to buy it at the store. As we all know, grocery prices are just through the roof. So I feel like these little things that we do, you might not think that, like the onions can have a dual purpose. Even if you are growing them for the onion bulb itself, you could still use some of the sprouts and dry them. And same thing with, like the garlic. making garlic powder are the scapes, or just preserving your own herbs that you're growing in your garden. I feel like these are little methods, but they are just ways to save some money, and I feel like sometimes you have to start small, but little things like that add up. People don't think it's the same concept of buying the coffee. People say don't buy coffee because you can make it at home. It's the same thing. I'm making my stuff at home and trying to save money, and I feel like I'm getting a better quality item also. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing my garden, and I hope it encourages you to grow a garden of your own. It's not a very big garden or a very pretty garden, but I really do enjoy gardening, and it is something I enjoy, and it's also something that gives me something back. I hope you enjoyed my video and seeing the state of my garden. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up and press subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next video. I harvested 13 pounds of carrots, so I call that a win.